Today we're cracking open a cold case. And I mean a really cold case. One that's been unsolved for nearly 13,000 years. We're going to investigate a sudden planet-wide catastrophe and see if we can figure out what was behind it.
So, picture this. The last great ice age is finally ending. Glaciers are melting, the planet's thawing out, things are looking up. And then, bam! In what is basically a blink of an eye in geologic time, the global thermostat just plummets. It's one of the biggest and most baffling climate mysteries ever.
And we're not talking about just a little cold snap here. This was a full-on return to Ice Age conditions, a deep freeze that gripped the planet for more than 1,000 years.
All right, so let's properly investigate the scene of this 12,900-year-old crime. Scientists have a name for this period, the Younger Dryas. It's actually named after a little Arctic flower that suddenly started popping up everywhere when the cold returned.
The timing is what makes this so wild. I mean, the Earth was on a one-way street to a warmer climate. And then, out of nowhere, it slams on the brakes and reverses back into a deep freeze for 1,200 years. Then, just as suddenly, it warms up again. This wasn't gradual. Something big, something catastrophic had to have happened. For a long time, the prime suspect was water. The idea was that a gigantic lake left over from the melting glaciers burst its dam. All that fresh water flooded into the North Atlantic and basically shut down the ocean currents that act like a global heating system. It's a solid theory for sure, but does it really explain everything?
Well, in 2007, a new theory came crashing onto the scene, and this one was, well, literally more explosive. It proposed a completely different kind of culprit. This new idea, the impact hypothesis, pointed the finger not at something on Earth, but at something that came from space. The theory goes that a massive comet or meteor slammed into the planet, kicking up so much dust and ash that it blocked out the sun and triggered a brutal global winter.
But here's the thing. If you're going to claim there was a massive impact, you kind of need to find the impact crater, right? And for years, scientists looked everywhere, but they couldn't find a crater that was the right age or the right size. Without that smoking gun, the whole idea was just a cool story.
So the investigators decided to change tactics. If you can't find the giant hole in the ground, maybe you can find the shrapnel from the explosion.
So the search widened across a huge area, from North America all the way to Europe. And as they sifted through layers of soil from exactly 12,900 years ago, they started finding something really weird. These strange microscopic particles. And we're not talking about obvious chunks of rock. No, the clue that could break this whole case wide open could only be seen under a microscope. Take a look at these. They're tiny little glass balls, spherules, about the size of a BB. Now, the only way you get these is from an incredibly intense blast of heat. We're talking over 2,000 degrees Celsius that melts rock and then cools it instantly. This is exactly what you'd find in the fallout of a massive impact fireball. This felt like the first real break in the case. And this is where the detective work gets really cool. Every rock has a unique chemical signature, kind of like a fingerprint. By analyzing the geochemical fingerprint of these little glass balls, scientists were able to trace them back to their source. And all the clues pointed to one place, northeastern Canada.
So the case seems to be coming together, right? We have evidence of a fireball, we have a location. It feels like we're about to close the book on this one. But this is where the trail takes a very sharp, very unexpected turn.
Because the biggest question was still hanging in the air. Did this thing actually come from space? To prove their case, the investigators had to show that the impactor was extraterrestrial.
To do that, they ran a forensic test using an element called osmium. It's pretty simple, actually. Meteorites are loaded with this stuff, but rocks from Earth's crust barely have any. It's a dead giveaway for telling the difference between space rocks and our rocks.
And the lab results? Total bombshell. The little glass balls had almost no extraterrestrial signature. They were made from plain old Earth rock. So now you've got evidence of a massive fireball, hot enough to melt rock, but no evidence of a meteorite. The mystery just got a whole lot weirder.
And this brings us right back to the biggest, most glaring problem with the entire case. If something hit the Earth with enough force to create these things, it should have left behind a massive crater. But there just isn't one.
Now, there are craters in that part of Canada, but when scientists tested the rock from them, the chemical fingerprint was a total mismatch. They couldn't be the source, so the trail went cold again.
We've got the debris, but the crime scene is missing.
And the problems just keep piling up. Get this, the key piece of evidence, the glass spherules themselves, have never been accurately dated. For all we know, they could be thousands of years older or younger than the Big Freeze. So, just to recap, we have undated evidence from an unidentified impactor at a missing crime scene. Not exactly a slam dunk.
As you can imagine, this whole situation has led to a fierce, heated debate in the scientific community. The experts are completely divided. Let's see what they have to say.
On one side, you have the lead researcher, Mukul Sharma. He's still convinced they're on the right track. He argues that the chemical fingerprint is undeniable, and it points right to Canada. His theory for the missing crater? Maybe the object hit a 2-mile-thick ice sheet, which could have hidden or absorbed the impact.
But on the other side, geologists like Nicholas Pinter are having none of it. He flat out calls the pro-impact theory fringe science, arguing that the evidence is just too contradictory. For him, no crater means no case, period. This isn't some friendly academic disagreement. This is a real scientific battle.
And so, the cold case file remains wide open, with these huge, nagging questions still hanging in the air. Where is the crater? If it wasn't a meteorite, what on earth was it? Could an impact on a giant ice sheet really leave no trace? Or maybe the original suspect, the ocean currents, was the right answer all along.
Nearly 13,000 years later, the jury is still out. Was our world plunged into ice by a fiery catastrophe from the cosmos? Or was it changed by complex, powerful forces right here on Earth? The clues are contradictory, the experts are divided, and this ancient cold case is far from solved. Figuring it out isn't just about the past, it's about understanding just how fragile and dynamic our planet really is. So after all that, what do you think happened?